Hi, this is Sara Levin, the Artful Inker. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and today I've got a couple of alternatives for the July Summer Nights Paper Pumpkin Kit. Let's get to the creating. To start, we're going to take a piece of Whisper White and the Starburst Fireworks stamp from the Summer Nights stamp set. And I'm going to ink that with Bumblebee by just placing that on the ink and giving it a light rub all the way around. And I want a couple of these in Bumblebee. And then let me take my Simply Chamois piece and wipe that off. And we'll move on to our next ink color after I close that up, which is Coastal Cabana, and do the same thing, just setting the stamp on, not pushing it in, not pouncing it, not tapping it, just laying it on the top and giving it a moment to pick up ink and then stamping. Okay, so let's clean that off and set it aside here. And next I want my 2-inch circle punch, and we're going to punch these out. Okay, we'll set that aside and come back to those. Then you're going to take your paper snips and start and just cut around these, and I'm giving it a little bit of like a scalloped edge. You can leave it the way it is. I liked the little bit of extra shape that it gives, so that's entirely up to you. Leave it punched or go from the punch to cutting this down further. Let me just finish around. You'll notice that I'm moving the paper, not the scissors, which is what gives you that clean edge when you cut. Okay, and then we're just going to come and cut in between here, and it's every 3 or 4 of the lines. Doesn't matter whether it's solid or dotted. When you get to the place that you need to cut, just cut. And then take your bone folder and give this a little bit of a curl all the way around. Okay. And then you can even take your hands and curl this in further. So I'm going to finish the rest of these and I'll be right back. Okay, so next I've used my jar punch and punched a jar from Mint Macaron. And I've got a Whisper White layer here that's cut to 4 by 5 1/4. And then this scrap piece from punching. And I'm going to use it as a little guide, and I just want to put a tick mark at the bottom and one at the top, and then over here on each side, and that'll kind of keep me in the frame for this next step. So I've got the line and I've put it on my block in a squiggle, and I'm going to take the Old Olive ink and put these at varying heights, but staying within the jar. So I've stamped off one, and again that'll help us add some interest to what we're doing here. Okay, put that out of the way. Let's close up the Old Olive ink. And now I've got my Magenta Madness and the Firefly or Lightning Bug stamp, whichever you call it. And we're going to stamp 2 of these together at the top of each one of our stems. Oops. Let's see if we can match that up. The magic of photopolymer stamps, since you can see through them, it's fairly easy to go back and do it again. Okay, so let's close this up and then we'll start and put this together. Let's take our jar, and I've got some dimensionals here, and just going to add a couple of those to the back of my jar. Oops. Dimensionals are a great inexpensive way to add a little wow to a card, just lifting a layer. We could send this just like that, and it's pretty cute. So let's put a dimensional on the back of each one of these flowers and get them kind of arranged in here. So we're going to tuck this one underneath and let this one sit over top. Oops. Dimensional doesn't need to be in our flower. And there we go. There's our, let's move this one up just a little bit. Cluster those big guys a little bit more. But there's our layer. And now let's add dimensionals to the back of this. Make sure that you're adding enough that you're giving support in the center here. You don't want that to sag on your card. Oops. I've got a sheet with extra sticky backs, which I guess is a good thing because then they're going to really stick on my card. So I've lined my Thick Whisper white base up with my grid sheet and then lay that down. And there's our first alternative for the Summer Nights paper pumpkin kit from July. Let me set this aside and we'll do the next one. Okay, so for this next alternative, I'm going to put down a piece of scrap paper and then my Whisper White, which measures 4 by 5 1/4. And then I've got the line stamp from the Summer Nights stamp set. Again, it's in a squiggle, and I'm going to start closest to the top, and then let me quick, I was messy, wipe off my block here. And I'm going to line that up. And to line it up, you're just going to overlap just a little bit. And then I'm going to start here so that we can see where we're going with this next bit. And then I'll come back and get this piece here. And I want to widen that overlap just a little bit. There we go. Let me set my messy stamp aside. You shouldn't be that messy. Then I've got some Bermuda Bay. And I'm going to take what's supposed to be that lantern stamp. Okay, let me put my Bermuda Bay away and then take my Coastal Cabana, and I've got the firefly stamp again. Okay, let's close up this ink pad. And then next, I want the little dot that fills the tail of the firefly, and I'm inking that with Memento. Okay, let's close up the Memento and bring the Pacific Point back in. Let me clean my stamp a second. Okay, and we're going to take that stamp for the end of the firefly again and ink and stamp off. Oops. I'm being really messy with my blocks today. Okay, let's close this. And I've got the bullet tip from my Bermuda Bay Stampin' Right marker. I'm just going to take a finger from my other hand to give a little support. And that allows me to have a little lighter touch. Okay. Okay, so next I'm going to reach back to the June Paper Pumpkin Kit, Sending Sunshine, and use the sun from that stamp set. And we're just going to go right up here in this corner. And that was Bumblebee ink. And then let's put a sentiment on there. And I'm also going to use a stamp from the Sending Sunshine stamp set. And I've just lined this up with my grid paper. And let's make sure that we're straight. You can always use a Stamparatus to do this. And the grid paper is great for eyeballing. So now we need to move along to the inside of the card. And I've got another layer of the Whisper White and my squiggle again in the Pacific Point ink. It's nice to have a little bit of detail on the inside of your card. And we're just going to put this down along the bottom. Give it a little overlap. When you line those ends of the line up, there you go. Let's set this aside and close up my ink. Okay, so let's put this together now. I've got a Pacific Point base, and we'll put this layer on the inside using multi-purpose glue. You just need a little bit, goes a long way. And eyeball 3 sides, and the 4th side takes care of itself. And then close this up and grab my dimensionals. Make sure that you put on enough that this is not going to be saggy. Dimensionals are an inexpensive part of your crafting supplies. Okay. Oops. And okay, so here is our second alternative for the July Summer Nights Paper Pumpkin Kit. If you're a new subscriber and did not receive the June Paper Pumpkin Kit, you could look at Itty Bitty Greetings. It's a great all-purpose sentiment stamp set for your sentiment if you don't have the hello. And of course my subscribers will be receiving their Beyond the Box tutorial with more alternatives that are exclusive to that tutorial bundle, as my way of saying thank you for subscribing to Paper Pumpkin with me. If you've enjoyed these alternatives, give this video a thumbs up. You can subscribe to my YouTube channel and click the bell if you would like to receive notifications the next time I upload a video. Have a great day. Bye.